Hello third graders. Today we're doing Math 11.8, area of combined rectangles. We are going to use a property that we used a few months ago when we were learning multiplication facts, distributive property. Multiplying a sum by a number is the same as multiplying each addend by the number and then adding the products. Now that's a confusing explanation, but let me refresh our memories to what distributive property means. It's breaking apart a bigger multiplication problem. So here we have 3 times 16, and they broke apart the 16 into a 10 and a 6. So now they have 2 smaller multiplication facts to figure out. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 6 is 18. And then I add those two products together. 30 times 18 is 48. So 3 times 16 is 48. When we were learning our multiplication facts, we would use arrays. That was one of the strategies, and we could break apart an array. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of dots, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in each row. So the multiplication fact is 7 times 8. Now that we've been practicing multiplication facts so long, hopefully you have this multiplication fact memorized. 7 times 8. Now distributive property is when you break apart one of the numbers. I am going to go ahead and break apart the 7. I like to circle it so I can remember which number I'm breaking apart. I also like to break apart a number that has a 5 in it, and then whatever the other number is, because 5s are easier for me. So I can break apart a 7 into a 5 and a 2. So now I make my 2 multiplication sentences. So I have 5 times 8 plus 2 times 8. The 8 stayed the same. I broke apart the 7 to a 5 and a 2. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 2 times 8 is 16. 40 times 16 is 56. 7 times 8 is 56. It is, of course, easier if you have those facts memorized, but you can figure out multiplication by distributive property. When we have an array, we can also use a line to separate the array into 2 separate arrays. So here I broke apart the 7 to a 5 and a 2. So I need to have 5 lines and 2 lines. So I am going to draw a horizontal line to break apart these 2 arrays. So now I have 5 rows with 8 in each row and 2 rows with 8 in each row. We can also do that by, let me erase this a little bit. We can also do that when we're finding area. So here is a rectangle to represent the array that we just did. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in each row. I am going to break apart my array. I am going to do a vertical line this time. I'm going to break apart the 8. I'm going to break it apart to a 5 and a 3. So now I have 2 separate rectangles instead of 1 rectangle. And I broke apart the 8. So for rectangle 1, I have 7 times 5, and for rectangle 2, I have 7 times 3. I broke apart the 8 this time to a 5 and a 3. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 3 is 21. I add those together. 35 plus 21 is 56. So I can also do this with area. This would be 56 square units. Let's try another one. Now this is when it really comes in handy. Distributive property comes in handy when we're learning multiplication facts. It also comes in handy when you're figuring out those, the area of a figure that does not have the same number of rows and the same number of squares in each row. Okay, so I can make two separate rectangles. I can choose to use a horizontal line and break it apart, or a vertical line and break it apart. I'm going to go ahead and do a horizontal line right here. I have rectangle 1, rectangle 2. Okay, so I'm going to label that up here. Rectangle 1, rectangle 2. For rectangle 1, I have 4 rows, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 9 in each row. For rectangle 2, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in each row. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 4 is 16. This is where it really comes in handy having your multiplication facts memorized. I'm going to add 36 and 16. 6 plus 6 is 12. I regroup my 1. My 110. 110 plus 3 tens plus 110 is 5 tens. So the area of this figure is 52. And it could be 52 square miles, 52 square feet, 52 square yards. If they don't label it, we just say 52 square units. Now this rectangle down here is a bigger one. Here I did a horizontal line. I'm going to do a vertical line here. So I'm going to make a vertical line down here and a vertical line down here and give myself 3 separate rectangles to find the area. Rectangle 1, rectangle, I'm going to do it a little bit differently this time. Rectangle 2 plus rectangle 3. Okay, let's see if that works. Rectangle 1, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in each row. 6 times 4. Rectangle 2 is a smaller one. I have 3 rows times 2 rows. 3 times 2 is, I'm going to multiply it later, sorry. Here I have a bigger rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each row. So there are my 3 separate rectangles. I'm going to switch colors so we can see it better. 6 times 4 is 24. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. So now I'm adding 24 plus 6 plus 30. Well, I know that if I add the 6 and the 4 together, it makes another 10. So 24 plus 6 is 30. 30 plus 30 is 60. So the area for this figure is 60 square units. So today you will be using distributive property to figure out the area of shapes, to figure out the area of figures, okay? If you want to do your personal math trainer, be sure to go to Interactive Student Edition in your things to do. If you would rather do the printed out pages from the practice book pages, those can be found in your library. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you, third graders. Bye.